What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Figure probably need to do a video for the breakdown of the second place finish at Beaver Lake. Sadly, I didn't get any tournament footage for it. My battery that I hooked my YOLO-Tech stick up to in the kayak took a dump on me and wouldn't work, so I didn't get any footage that day. But you know, had crazy set of circumstances come up with that event. On the Wednesday before the event, I got laid off work, which when they told me, I walked up to them, shook their hand and said, cool, now I get to pre-fish for my tournament on Saturday, because I wasn't going to get to pre-fish for it. So Friday morning I got up and I went over to Beaver Lake, drove around a little bit, looked at a few places. Finally put in at Prairie Creek and fished around there for a little bit, and I think I got to fish for 3.5 hours, and I caught 8 fish. I'll put the one fish that I caught in practice on video before the camera died, and I found out that my main battery wasn't working for the YOLO-Tech. I'll put it here after all the talking, so there's at least one fish catch on here for y'all. But I kind of figured out a little something. You know, I went into the event expecting to fish docks. I knew there's quite a few boat docks around Prairie Creek area, and I was just gonna go fish boat docks. That didn't work. I caught 2 fish off of boat docks in practice, and they were both the smaller fish that I caught. My biggest fish that I caught in practice, I actually caught off of standing timber. At the time, I didn't realize it was on standing timber. I caught it on a Bill Lewis MR6 crankbait, just going down the bank blind casting, and when I got up to where I hooked the fish, I seen that there was a tree stump there, and caught the fish off of it. So I was like, okay, maybe. And I caught a few fish off on a baby brush hog in practice. So when I reset everything Friday night for Saturday morning, I tied up a shaky head, tied up a jig, retied my baby brush hog, had that MR6 on, and tied up my trusty head shaker. Saturday morning I get loaded out at Prairie Creek and take off, and Friday night before I loaded up, I noticed a place that had a long stretch of standing timber on it, so I went to that area to start. Fished a couple of boat docks there because I just couldn't give it up. I wanted to catch fish on docks. But as I came around the second dock, I scanned over with my live scope, and I seen a few fish down on bottom, and I had my head shaker, vibrating jig, you know. Had it in my hand and just turned and dropped it down on those fish and popped it a few times and caught my first fish on it. So it's like, all right. Threw it a little bit more, couldn't ever get another bite. So I picked up my shaky head and threw it at a few fish and caught a few more on the shaky head. So I was feeling pretty good. Then I fished for about 1.5 hours, 2 hours without a strike on anything. Start noticing a whole bunch of shad balled up real good and fish hanging out around them, but not really feeding on them. So I dug out my solid white Bill Lewis Scope Stick 100, throwing it on the iRod Air 692, 12-pound fluorocarbon, and took and added some weights to it because I wanted it to be able to sink down real good. I originally put 3 suspend dots on it, and it sank too fast for me with 3, so I pulled one off and was throwing it with just 2 on there, sinking it down from 20 to 25 foot to these fish, and just started catching them. I landed on a pile of spotted bass that was just insane. I should have turned my text off, my ringer off. John Fennell, that was you texting me. So, let's turn that off so if anybody else texts, we don't have a scream in it. Landed on a pile of spots with this thing and just went to whacking on them. Got lucky. Only lost 1 spot off the board. It was a 15-inch fish, which would have helped me a little bit, but it wouldn't have put me out of second place into first. So you know, just like I said, using live scope with that scope stick, sinking it down to those fish in 20-25 foot of water was the main key. My big fish, I did end up catching it on the baby brush hog. You can see this one's actually had the twirlies ripped off of it yesterday when I was fishing. 3/8 ounce motley fishing tungsten sinker on the Quarkus iRod 764 wild card power finesse flip. This rod has become one of my favorite rods to use here recently, but I had found a big beaver hut that ran from the bank out to about 20 foot of water, and I was working that baby brush hog through it. Felt just the lightest little tick and caught my biggest fish, which was a 16 something. I don't remember exactly how many inches I had. It was 70s, 72, 74, something like that. It's been a few weeks ago. I'm getting older. See all this gray? I mean, but I had a good event. Took second, punched my ticket to the Bassmaster Kayak Championship in March down here at 10 Killer Lake. So I'm pretty excited about that. Been fishing 10 Killer a whole lot, trying to get myself good and reacquainted with it. So hopefully everything goes good in March. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll have some really good news after that event. Beaver Lake bass.